Now on the CTV News at 5, more pushback to the province's new rules for female athletes, requiring them to confirm their gender at birth. Plus, Lethbridge's animal shelter is full after police lay animal cruelty charges. And construction of the new Crow's Nest Trail pathway has begun.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Provincial legislation aimed at keeping trans women and girls out of female sports went into effect last week. And now some in Lethbridge are speaking out against the policy they're calling unfair. Quinn Keenan has more.
Female athletes will need to provide extra documentation if they want to play in female-only sports. Anyone older than 12 will need to prove they were born female as part of the UCP government's revised Fairness and Safety in Sports Act. The policy has attracted a number of opponents, even prompting one University of Lethbridge professor to resign from the Board of Governors.
While you can speak against things on the board after the meeting is done, you're required to support any decision that's rendered, and I simply could not stand and support this decision. I feel it is wrong.
U of L geography professor Craig Coburn says he's taking a stand to protect the fundamental human rights of students. The province says the goal of the act is to keep transgender girls and women out of female sports because of their potential physical advantage. Minister of Sport and Tourism Andrew Boycheko said, when Albertans participate in sports they love, they should be able to do so on a level playing field. No athlete should have an unfair advantage, and no athlete should have to put themselves at risk of harm to participate. Coburn says he can't support that mandate, calling it discriminatory. He's also encouraging other faculty members to stand with the students.
I think it is against females in general, and it targets trans females specifically. To my mind, this would be against the Alberta Human Rights Act.
The U of L has implemented a policy in line with provincial guidelines on an interim basis until October 10th. This will allow the policy to be reviewed and altered if need be. In a statement, the university said, "We recognize this legislation has caused concern across our institution, particularly within and for the LGBTQ+ community. These are valued members of our university, and we are working hard to ensure the University of Lethbridge remains a welcoming and inclusive place for all." There are also concerns over how this policy will affect non-transgender female athletes. It could open the door for extra scrutiny or create issues for athletes who lack proper documentation.
There's a long history of harassment of women in sports, right? And of devaluing women in sports. And I think there's something to be said about even the division of sports into men's and women's leagues.
The Fairness and Safety in Sports Act, as well as two similar pieces of legislation, are facing a lawsuit from groups arguing they discriminate against trans youth. Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The Lethbridge School Division is also introducing its own process. The division said in a statement it has developed an administrative procedure as part of the requirements under the Government of Alberta's Fairness in Sport Act. It should be noted the requirement applies to extracurricular sports and does not apply to regular physical education classes. Now, the Alberta government says it is going to fight legal challenges to its school pronoun law. Justice Minister Mickey Amory's press secretary released a statement saying the province will vigorously defend its position in court. The statement says the legislation was introduced to strengthen ties between parents and their children's education, providing more transparency, clarity, and consistency. Two LGBTQ+ groups officially filed a court challenge against the court school pronoun law last week, asking the court to declare them unconstitutional. And with a potential strike looming, the Alberta Teachers Association is continuing to fight for more funding from the province to address classroom sizes and spending per student. According to a study by the Fraser Institute, Alberta ranked last in K-12 spending per student across Canada during the 2022-23 school year. The province investing just under $13,500 per student, while the next lowest was Newfoundland and Labrador, spending almost $700 more. Teachers are seeking increased wages and want more to be done to address ballooning classroom sizes. The ATA says the norm has become for class sizes to be in the 30s and even 40s.
We have been the least funded in terms of the amount of money that school boards have to spend on students for many, many years, almost a decade. And that chronic underfunding, when we've seen such high enrollment growth, is leading us to the crisis in education that we have right now.
Finance Minister Nate Horner says with a projected deficit this year and lower oil prices, the province feels the proactive deal respects teachers and class sizes. Danielle Savoni joins us now. And Danielle, the south could be seeing some precipitation.
Yes, so we have this wave that's rolling through right now. In some cases, it's isolated showers, and in some cases, it's non-severe thunderstorms. So we have this potential right up until about 9 o'clock tonight, and then things will quiet down for the late night and the overnight hours. But yes, you can see this wave that's starting to push into the far south. Okay, right now, 28 degrees. Again, yes, the risk of thunderstorm activity, but today's a hot one. We're going to cool down from here. So if you like the heat, well, you're not going to see much of it like this for the rest of this week. It's 28 right now in Lethbridge, 28 in Brooks as well, 30 in Medicine Hat, and 22 in Pincher Creek. We're going to notice a significant cool down by Friday and for parts of the weekend. I'll show you that just ahead, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Danielle. For the second time in a week, there is a train derailment in the East Kootenay. Transportation Safety Board investigators are being deployed again after a CPKC train derailed near Jaffrey, BC. Few details have been released, including the type of cargo being transported. Just a week ago, empty rail cars went off the track near Elko, BC, which is about 20 kilometers east of Jaffrey. A massive bust of contraband cigarettes in Brooks to tell you about. RCMP and members of the Alberta Gaming, Liquor and Cannabis Enforcement Unit executed a search warrant at a Brooks home last Wednesday. They seized almost $300,000 worth of contraband cigarettes and shisha tobacco. 2 people each face 7 charges, including fraud and the sale of contraband products. Well, the seizure of 20 pets in 3 animal cruelty investigations over the past week has the City of Lethbridge's animal shelter full and unable to accept new dogs at this time. Of the 20 animals rescued, there are several dogs. 8 are still at the shelter and can't be legally adopted or released yet. Shelter staff say to ensure the dogs continue to get proper care, the shelter is temporarily stopping accepting new canines. If someone finds a stray dog, they are encouraged to contact the shelter for advice. Adoptions of other shelter pets continue as normal. Now, charges or tickets have been issued in 2 of the animal cruelty cases by police, while a 3rd remains under police investigation. Despite rent prices continuing to fall in Lethbridge, post-secondary students are still turning to cheaper options to live, including on campus. Both Lethbridge Polytechnic and the University of Lethbridge are beginning a new semester at capacity for student accommodations. Carson Marsouk reports.
Classrooms at the University of Lethbridge aren't the only thing full this semester, so too are on-campus residents.
Seeing that there is still a bit of a wait list shows us that the demand is pretty high, and finding housing off campus that is affordable to students is quite hard.
The University of Lethbridge's 980 units are full, with a wait list for students to take advantage of cheaper accommodations.
Either they don't have a house that is available to them within their means, or they're finding that they're only able to find a whole living space instead of just 1 bedroom, or vice versa.
Lethbridge Polytechnic is also at capacity with its 537 units. While both institutions continue to see an increase in demand, the cost of rent in the city has dropped. In August, a 1-bedroom unit cost nearly $1,300, an 8.7% decrease from 1 year ago.
We looked at 60 communities across Canada for this latest rent report, and Lethbridge was the 6th most affordable.
Rentals.ca says less international students traveling to Canada in the summer has resulted in more vacancies than demand, allowing rent prices to drop.
We are not seeing demand reach the levels of supply that's coming in, and what that means is that there's more choices for renters. Now property managers are now working a little bit harder to get the attention of these renters, and what they can do is bring down the cost of rent, and hopefully that brings in prospecting tenants. And then on top of that, we are seeing move-in incentives come back with a vengeance.
While the semester is underway, staff say the availability of on-campus living can also play into enrollment numbers for the university.
We might have students that are first years that are looking at several other options. So if they don't get housing in their respective post-secondary, they might look at another place that is offering that.
Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Now, according to rentals.ca, a one-bedroom unit in Medicine Hat, that costs $1,200 a month. That's a 2.7% decrease from August of 2024. North Vancouver remains the most expensive place to rent, with a one-bedroom there running at $2,600 a month. The chief executive officer of the Blood Tribe Department of Health has resigned. Derek Fox will be stepping away from his role as CEO at the end of the month. Fox says he wants to spend more time with his family. Fox has been with the Department of Health for the last 28 years, including the last 5 as CEO. During his tenure as CEO, Fox led the department through the COVID-19 pandemic, led the expansion of the Bringing the Spirits Home detox program, and initiated the department's takeover of the Lethbridge homeless shelter.
It's been a wonderful experience. As we know, it's come with stresses and traumas at times, but many positives too. When we look at the work that is being done by the team here, it's just so strong.
Beginning October 1st, Chief Operating Officer Cash Shade will assume the role as interim CEO while the leadership team searches for Fox's permanent replacement. Construction of the new Crow's Nest Trail pathway in Lethbridge has begun. The pathway will run from Mayor McGrath Drive South near the intersection of 4th Avenue South along the south side of Highway 3 and into the WT Hill Business Park area. While the new pathway ends in the business park, the city says the placement leaves opportunities to create future connectivity to the Link pathway. The trail will also include the city's first pathway rail crossing. Construction will continue through the fall and is anticipated to be complete by next August. With World Gratitude Day approaching, the city of Lethbridge is starting a new campaign to thank those who help make sports and recreation better in the city. Residents can nominate someone who shows great effort, kindness, and leadership in local sports or recreation as part of the Gratitude in Play campaign. The city says coaches, volunteers, teammates, staff members, or supports are eligible to be nominated. Nominations can be made on the city's website until September the 19th, and World Gratitude Day, that is September the 21st. A Colehurst man is $1 million richer after winning big on the Lotto 649. Alexander Kurlowicek says that he took the ticket into the Save on Foods to check it along with roughly 20 other tickets he had been holding on to. Now, he says one of them made him stop in his tracks. He had the cashier double check to make sure it said $1 million. When asked how he was going to spend the winnings, he said he's going to invest in gold and do some home renovations. The winning ticket was bought at the Westside Save on Foods in Lethbridge. It is time for our first break, which means we'll find out more about the forecast right after this break. Plus, online gambling is a growing concern for a number of young teenagers. We've got that story coming up next.
Okay, Skywatch weather camera facing south. And there's a lot dancing around right now in the far south with regards to pockets of showers, thunderstorm activity, non-severe, but some lightning, a decent downpour associated with some of these cells as well. I'll show you the radar in just a second here. 26 degrees, though, was the high in Calgary today. A high 20s for Regina and through Saskatoon, Winnipeg in those mid-20s. And you can see that's where all the heat is. It's in the prairies today. Edmonton got to 30. And we're going to start losing the heat, though. So just to zoom in here and show you our communities. 28 in Milk River was the high today and the current temperature. 23 in Pincher Creek and 30 in Medicine Hat. 29 in Lethbridge. So yes, we have the heat today. We're going to start to lose it slowly as we go here for the rest of this week. And you'll definitely notice a difference. We'll barely hang on to the 20s in Lethbridge, for example, by Friday and Saturday. And that will come with cloudy, more of a gloomy day. Some rainfall. We could get a decent rainfall on Friday and Saturday. Here's a look at the radar. We have this line of thunderstorms and showers passing through. So that's the potential on and off up until about 9 o'clock tonight for all communities in the far south. Keep that in mind. I'm going to advance this so you can see, looking at 10 o'clock tonight should be fairly quiet, just maybe a little breezy out there. And then tomorrow, Yes, there's a stateside system that's going to start to push its way in. This means rainfall, cloud cover for the morning, so a bit of a gloomy morning for tomorrow. Lethbridge, cloud cover in through Medicine Hat area, and then this will push through. This could deliver a decent rainfall. We're looking at a couple millimeters. It's fairly short-lived though, and then it moves on out. It's more Friday and Saturday that we're looking at a significant rainfall. And before we get there, Thursday is just sunshine and quiet. When we talk about smoke and air quality, we are looking at things improving for the next couple of days. So we should be moderate to low on that air quality health index with regards to the risks. So that's some good news for us. The wind direction will be in our favor for that. Now, while this looks like a lot of rainfall, we're not looking at a lot of rainfall for the East Kootenay area for the next 24 hours, but we are looking at the potential for shower thunderstorm activity, short-lived, for this evening and back again later in the day tomorrow, a high of 26 and hazy rather than smoky. 23 degrees in the Crozes Pass areas are high for tomorrow. Again, isolated showers and thunderstorm activity possible for these next couple of hours, and even potential later in the day tomorrow. But much of the day tomorrow should actually be quite nice. Okay, we have a small chance of showers in the Medicine Hat area for the next couple of hours, and then we have a small chance of showers later in the day tomorrow and 26 degrees. Lethbridge, though, cloud cover rolling in tomorrow, and then we have the potential for showers even in the morning hours and in the afternoon, and the risk of a thunderstorm. 23 degrees for tomorrow, 23 for Thursday, up to 10 millimeters of rain for Friday and Saturday, and we drop down to 20 degrees.
Teenagers trying their hand at online gambling is a growing concern. It's prompting calls for stronger regulations. Health reporter Pauline Chan reports.
About 18 months after single-event sports betting was legalized across Canada in August 2021, Dr. Sean Kelly says he began seeing adolescents, mainly boys, coming in with online gambling-related problems.
It tends to be at the lower end, 12 to 13, all the way up to their young 20s.
But the thing that really drove home how influential online gambling ads are was an incident with one of his own kids.
Asked me what the difference between plus minus and an over-under was. And that was, hearing that from a 7-year-old made me become keenly aware of who was being affected by these advertisements.
And while there are restrictions on who can participate in online betting,
just like all adult-oriented online content, keeping youth away from it has yet to be effective in certain spaces.
Dr. Kelly says the harms tend to be mostly financial, but also things like substance use, anxiety, and depression can result.
I'm very concerned that suicidal behavior may seem like a reasonable solution to a financial problem that they have caused for themselves and their families.
The Canadian Medical Association Journal says we can't wait for a rash of severe results like teen suicides before acting on the problem of teen online gambling. And they're supporting a new bill to create a framework of stronger restrictions.
Number of advertisements per segment, number of advertisements per broadcast, there's a whole bunch of different ways that this could be measured and addressed.
Bill 211 passed its second reading in the Senate in June, but the CMAJ says it's just a first step. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, one of the best mixed martial arts fighters on the planet makes an aspiring Paralympian's dreams come true. A young man with Paralympic dreams had the chance to test his mettle against one of Canada's most famous fighters. CTV's Christine Long reports.
Yes, yes, yes. He's 18 and active. William Fleury boxes, does judo and more. Pushing past his physical limitations, which includes visual impairment. William is also learning mixed martial arts. He stepped into the cage with Georges St-Pierre, who is considered one of the best fighters in MMA history.
To teach him some martial art tricks that he can, use on his own.
Showing William the ropes, St-Pierre and trainer Firas Sahabi revealed their signature moves at TriStar Gym.
For fun, it's a chess game. Combat sport is not only about strength, it's also about how you solve a problem.
This session was set up by the Shine Foundation, a charitable organization that aims to improve the lives of youth living with severe physical disabilities by helping make their dream come true. William's dad says St. Pierre has always been the example to follow. On the big screen and certainly on the mat, St. Pierre is incredibly tough, but says meetings like this are win-win.
Sometimes we take health for granted, but when I meet people like him that struggle every day, you know, and makes me appreciate life, so it's good for me as well.
And it certainly inspired William to keep at his Paralympic dream. Christine Long, CTV News.
Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather Jr. will meet in the boxing ring next spring. Tyson is 59 years old and has not earned a professional win since 2003. His 4 most recent bouts have ended with 3 losses and a draw, including one versus Jake Paul last fall. Mayweather is 48. He is retired but is known for his undefeated 50-0 record. He beat Conor McGregor in August of 2017. Now, this bout will not affect either of their records. The promoter will release the location, date, and weight class for the fight in the coming months. The first lottery ticket process for the FIFA World Cup starts tomorrow and continues until Friday. You will need a Visa card to ultimately buy those tickets. Potential buyers can go to the FIFA's website to register for the draw and will be asked to create an account or log into their previously existing one. Starting tomorrow, fans will be asked to fill out a form allowing them to enter a lottery system to secure their seats for the World Cup. FIFA has said tickets for group stage matches will start at $82 Canadian. Canada is hosting 13 matches split between Vancouver and Toronto. James Hardy has won the 11th British Speed Golf Championships.
Yeah, it feels good. It's a massive surprise. I didn't know I was going to finish first, to be honest. Just started the sport and I absolutely love it. I'm addicted.
The PGA Pro raced to the title after consecutive rounds, less than 28 minutes on the par 58 course. In those rounds, he put up impressive scores of 58 and 64. Speed Golf scores on both strokes played as well as time taken to complete a round. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, celebrating 65 years of CFCN and CTV right after this break. CTV Lethbridge's parent station, CTV Calgary, formerly known as CFCN, is 65 years old today.
When completed, Canada's first independent television station will be housed in the most modern radio and TV building in Canada.
After months of construction, CFCN was ready to serve Calgary and southern Alberta. When viewers tuned in September the 9th, 1960, they saw the station launch, followed by a 30-minute newscast and 2 movies. Since then, CTV grew, covering all the major events, and we were entertained too. Buckshot with Ron Barge and puppeteer Jim Lewis ran for 30 years. We've got more coming up at 6. Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.